Hi everyone, welcome to my channel, Maths Made Easy with Terry in 10 minutes. So we're going to talk about making the subject with simple formulas. So how do you make subjects when you have simple formulas? Before I proceed, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. If you've not clicked the notification bell, I don't know what you're waiting for. So please do so that when I post new videos, you'll be the first person to know. All right, so we've talked about in the previous video, there are key things you should remember. So I told you in the previous video that the subject of the formula must be alone on one side of the equation. And whatever you do to one side, you must do to the other side of the equation. All right. And also, I also told you in the previous video, to arrange, you might have to add or you subtract both sides. You could multiply or divide the same quantity on both sides. You could raise both sides to the same power. You could convert to index form. You could use cross multiplication. So I explained the concept in the previous video. So please, before you come to this video, please ensure that you've watched the previous video I talked about. All right. So let's get cracking now. So let's pick some example here. All right. Let's pick some example. So I have one here. Number one, I was told that I should make X the subject of the formula in the following. So we're told to make X the subject of the formula in the following. Okay. So we should make X the subject of the formula in the following. So let's start. So the first one I have P plus X is equal to Q plus R. Are you seeing it? P plus X is equal to Q plus R. So remember I told you that anything, we need to make X the subject and X has to be alone on one side of the equation. And so that means we need to get rid of this P, all right? So how do you get rid of the P? Then you have to subtract P from both sides. Is that making sense? So if you're going to subtract P from the left-hand side, you have to subtract P from the right-hand side. So that is going to give us P plus X. Then we subtract P so that the P can go away, will be equal to Q plus R. And also you subtract what? P. So you can see the essence of this is that so that anything you do to the left-hand side, you do to the right-hand side. And when this happens, so P minus P will cancel out. Are you seeing it? Or if you want to, some students prefer to write them together. So it's going to be P minus P plus X. Okay, if you want to collect like terms, it's going to be Q plus R minus P. All right. So P minus P will cancel out. Will give you 0. Then you have X will be equal to Q plus R minus P. And that will be the what? The answer. So you can see, in order to get rid, you have to don't just do it on one side, you have to do it on both sides of the equation. All right, so let's go to number 2. So number 2, in this case, we have Px is equal to what? Q plus R, okay? Px is equal to Q plus R. Now, if you look at this now, we need the P now, unlike the previous one that we had P plus X that we had to subtract, but now the PX are multiplied together, okay? So how do you get rid of this P is that you have to divide, because when you have P plus X divided by P, the X will become free and the P is gonna cancel out. So what do you do now? So you want to divide P, but what you have to remember is that you can't just divide one side, you have to divide through everything on the equation. So that means if I divide this by P, to get this out, I also have to divide this by P, and I also have to divide this by P. Are you seeing it? So remember I told you what you do to the left-hand side, you must do as well to the what? To the right-hand side. So what will now happen? We're going to have Px divided by P is equal to Q over P plus R over what? P. And this will cancel that. So you're going to have X is going to be Q over P plus R over what? P. And that will be the answer for that. Okay, and that's B. So you can see in the previous one, it was addition. That's why we subtracted. So in this case, it's being multiplied. That's why you have to divide. Is that okay? So you have to keep that in mind when you're solving. All right. Let's pick maybe 2 or 3 more examples. Okay. Let's pick 2 or 3 more examples for this and see how we do. So let's pick number 3. We have P plus 3x is equal to what? Q plus R. All right. So the first thing we need to do is that we then need to what? We need to make X so of the formula. So that means we need to get rid of this P first. And after getting rid of the P, we then get rid of the 3. Okay. So to get rid of the P, we're going to subtract P from both sides. So it's going to be P, all right, minus P, all right, plus 3x is equal to Q plus R minus what? P. So remember, you have to do the same thing to both sides. So now this, the P, will cancel this P, because P minus P will give you 0. You now have 3x is equal to Q plus R minus P. Now to get rid of this 3, okay, you have to divide both sides by what? 3. So we divide both sides by 3. So you have to divide through by 3 to get the answer. Okay, so then we can now say this is going to cancel that. So we now have X is going to be equal to Q over 3 plus R over 3 minus P over 3. And that will be the answer for that. Okay, so the same thing. What you do to the left-hand side, you have to do to the right-hand side. All right, let's pick another one. Number 4. Let's assume we have this one here. We have P is equal to 3x divided by 4. Okay, 3x divided by 4. So now in this case, you can use 2 methods to solve this. Okay, I'm going to use both of them. So I'm going to divide this into 2. So we're going to use 2 methods to solve this. So you can use the cross multiplication, or you can use you can multiply both sides. So the first one, we're going to do multiply both sides. If you want to multiply both sides, okay? Or the second method is that you can do cross multiplication. Okay? So what we can do now, so we have multiply both sides. So we have P is equal to 3x over 4. To get rid of this 4, we can multiply both sides by what? 4. Are you seeing it? We multiply both sides by 4. So it's going to be 4 times P will give us 4P will be equal to this 4. We cancel this 4. And you have what? 3x. Now to make x subject of the formula, we now divide both sides by what? 3. Then the 3, we cancel this 3. So therefore, we now have x to be what? 4 over 3 what? P. And that will be the answer for that. Now, but if you want to do cross multiplication method, so you can use that. So we have P is equal to 3x over 4. Now, P is the same thing as saying there's an invisible divided by 1 here, okay? Because all integers can be written as a fraction, okay? So what then happens? You cross multiply. P will multiply 4, and that will give us what? 4P. And then 1 is going to multiply 3x, and that will give us what? 3x, okay? So because students do take notes, I'm going to write it out clearly so that you will understand what I did. So it's going to be P multiplied by 4 will be equal to, then the next one, we have 1 multiplied by what? No, let me use another color. We now have 1 multiplied by what? 3x. So it's going to give us 4p is equal to 3x. Now, so to get rid of the 3, okay, we then divide both sides by what? 3, okay? So you then divide both sides by 3. Then this is now going to cancel out. Then you can definitely, you now have x is equal to 4 over 3p. Same answer like we got earlier. All right, so I'm going to just pick one more, and that will be that for this video. I'll just pick one more, and that will be that. So let's assume we have number 5 now. We have ax minus p plus r is equal to what? Z. Ax minus p plus r is equal to z. All right. So the same thing. I want to get rid of the p's first. So I'm going to add p because this is minus p. I'm going to add p to get rid of it. So it's going to become ax minus p. So I'm going to add p. All right. Then plus r is equal to z plus p, because what you do to the left-hand side, you have to do to the right-hand side. So the minus p will cancel the plus p. So we now have ax plus r is equal to z plus p. Now I need to get rid of the r, so I'm going to subtract r from both sides. So it's going to give me ax plus r. Then we now have minus r will be equal to z plus p minus what? R. Same thing. This is going to cancel that. So we're going to have ax is equal to z plus p minus what? R. Now to get rid of the a now, I'm going to divide all through by a. Does that make sense? I'm going to divide all through by a. So this is going to cancel that. Then we'll now have x will be equal to z over a plus p over a minus r over a. And that will be the answer for that. Okay, all right, and that is that. So you can see it's still the same thing, the same principle. Whatever you do to the left-hand side, do this exact same thing to the right-hand side of the equation or formula. So you can add or subtract, you can divide or you can multiply, or you can do cross multiplication. It does not really matter. Just make sure you do the same thing. All right, so the next video, we're going to talk about how do you make solutions of the formula when you have fractions. So now when formula having fractions, although we talked about some of them here in the 4th example in this series, in this video, sorry, but we're going to go deeper into more interesting fractions. So when you have fractions, how do you go about it? And it will be very important to talk about cross multiplication there, talking about multiplying both sides by fractions as well. So it's very important that you subscribe so that when I post the next video, you'll be the first person to know. All right. So I'll see you soon in the next video where we talk about making solutions of the formula when the formula is a fraction. All right. So I'll see you soon.